How you doing? Neil Still here for Neil Still Reviews, and today a much underrated band and a very underrated album that even probably percentage of their so-called hardcore fans have never fucking heard. I'm talking about a US traditional metal band, Warrior. This is their second album, called Ancient Future. Now, most people watching this have probably never fucking heard of the album. Most people who know of Warrior know this album, Fighting for the Earth, which of course was a video released in 1985 when the album came out, and that's pretty much how most people would know Warrior. Getting back to this one, this is the second album. Now, this was released in 1998. So it's 13 years after Fighting for the Earth. So most people would have moved on, and probably by 1998 were all grunge heads when they used to be metal heads. And believe me, there's plenty of them pretenders to go from one genre to another, whatever's fucking popular. Anyway, getting back to this, Warrior. Second album. Is it as good as the first one? Fucking almost. No bullshit. It's like if you compare Rainbow Rising and the follow-up, Long Live Rock and Roll, that's the same deal you get here with this second Warrior album. Fighting for the Earth is that, oh my God, 10 out of 10. And this follow-up, it might be 13 years behind the debut, but it's almost there, I tell you. It's definitely an 8 or 9 out of 10. It's pretty much a great sequel to Fighting for the Earth. And sadly, unfortunately for the band, lack of record company push for both albums is the reason the band never had major success, because as a unit, everything was ticked there, the boxes, the band played well, the singer could sing, great songs, it was all there. And they're just one of literally hundreds of bands that should have made it but didn't. Look, this is really good album. It really is. Perry McCarthy, the vocalist, returns, and he's got a great fucking voice. As a singer, I love his voice. He doesn't sound like anybody else. He's fucking very distinctive. Perry McCarthy, for those who don't know, besides being in Warrior, he also did Steve Stevens' debut solo album from 1989 called Atomic Playboys. Same singer. He's a fucking great singer. And he nails it on this album, 100%. The other people involved, obviously the main man, and it's his band, Joe Floyd, the guitar player. He's the riff writer. He's the man that probably calls all the shots. Mike Perez is also a guitar player on the album. He also plays keyboards. Sam did the bass. And there's also Roy Z, who's a producer. He plays some guitars and bass on the album as well. Sound-wise, it's produced by the band, and the production on the album is as good, if not better, than Fighting for the Earth. It's fucking got the great big sound there like it should have, 100%. Song-wise, well, we have plenty of really good songs on this album. Fight or Fall is the opening track. Sort of scoots along a little bit. Great hard rock song, really good song. We have Pray, which is absolute fucking epic Warrior. And this opening scream by Perry McCarthy, or Paramore McCarthy, is just like unbelievable. As good as anything that Ripper Owens, Rob Halford, Ralph Sheepers, any of these guys. It's just, he's that sort of vocalist to me. He always has been, right? Hussein is an unbelievably really good song. Besides being a heavy monster of a song riff-wise, it's all about Saddam Hussein. And the lyrics are really good. Like, it's just, they really nail it. Learn to Love, that's pretty cool. That's not a bad song. Tonight We Ride, pretty much speaks for itself. It's got that galloping, not Iron Maiden galloping, but definitely a galloping sort of feel. Tonight We Ride. It's got a great melody line. Power is another epic song. Up there with Fighting for the Earth. It's really got, that power and that, that substance that makes it so good. White Mansions, it's sort of, it's I suppose you would call it, excuse me, I suppose you'd call it a ballad to a degree, but singing-wise and playing by the band, it's great. The Rush, that's pretty cool for what it is. I don't mind that at all. And the closing song, but the second last song on the album, Tear It Down, just a runaway, in-your-face, ass-kicking fucking hard rock metal song. And Ancient Future is an instrumental at the end. As I said, this album, look, I'd give it 9 out of 10. It really is just a step behind the fantastic debut they did in '85, Fighting for the Earth. It ticks all the boxes. It really does. And it's such a shame it went under the radar for so many people, because in 1998, grunge and new metal were, the mainstream popular music, especially in the US, more so than anywhere else. So the rock and glam rock and heavy metal and hair metal and whatever, all those bands, how you want to term those bands that were sort of popular in the late 80s, early 90s, of course, were all swept under the carpet because of grunge. And these guys also got swept under the carpet, so to speak, because 1998, as I said, rock and metal wasn't a mainstream thing. And I think, what are we now? In 2026, and it's pretty much the same in the US. I mean, it's, you can see that there's little pockets, and they have gigs, and they have, tours and stuff that do okay, but no big business like it was back in the 80s and 90s. The mainstream thing has fallen away. The younger generation aren't really into it. Some, of course, are getting into it, excuse me, in other countries and territories. You can see that the rock metal thing is definitely happening again in Europe, like it used to be in the late 70s when the new wave of British heavy metal hit. And there were so many metal bands came out of that. And then, of course, the LA bands followed a few years later. So it'd be interesting to see if the US gets back into this style of music mainstream-wise. I very much doubt it, because I don't think even the name bands get airplay on the radio. I mean, obviously, if it's a big band like maybe Metallica or Motley Crue, maybe. I don't live in America, so I can't say. I know from friends that live there that part of the problem is, for the last 20 or 30 years, rock and metal doesn't get played on radio in America like it used to. Just the way it goes. It's the same shit happens here in Australia. It's 30 years they don't play this stuff on the radio in Australia at all. Anyway, Warrior. Great album, and believe it or not, this is the second album, right? Ancient Future from 1998. Like I said, it's a great follow-up, sequel, if you like to call it that, to Fighting for the Earth from '85. We'll do a review of the third album, which most people probably don't know, which is called Code of Life. That was released in 2001. And believe it or not, there was a fourth album done in 2005 called The Wars and Gods of Men, and the singer on that was Mark Storis from Crocus. So we'll get to those albums, because there's plenty of albums we can review here at Neil Steele's Reviews, because there's a plethora of great fucking music that most of the mainstream sites just don't cover. And that's what we're about. And if you're into the non-mainstream bands and you're discovering bands through this, can I suggest you check out the Facebook page, Kilowatts Hard Rock Specialist page. And I'm an admin, and there's other people involved with the page. And these sort of bands we push, but we also push the generic stuff like Maiden and Priest and whoever. And we try to push as many of old school bands that have released product, but also there's new breed of bands that are out there playing the old school style. There's fucking heaps, especially through Europe. So definitely worth coming back to Neil Steele's Reviews. Give it a like. And also check out the Kilowatts Hard Rock Specialist page at Facebook. And again, give us a like and you'll see heaps of stuff from old school bands that you know, and there's probably bands that you don't know. Yeah, we push a lot of the stuff that is unknown. Anyway, cheers, Neil Steele's Reviews. Warrior! Catch you next time.